Yes. So to jump in it really quick, I love the character Bess because she's so realistic. And the one thing that I think everyone can relate to about Bess is that she is the perfect example of how someone's self doubt can like get in their way of their dreams, and how you can block your own blessings. So, what's the advice you would give to people that go through what Bess has gone through, and they're just always down themselves and they're just always in their way?
Oh, wow, that I feel like I'm still trying to navigate that myself. I think we all are for sure. I think the one thing, personally, I guess I would say is, I think the rejection is a really hard thing, but I definitely do believe it is the stepping stone to where you're supposed to be. And that's the beautiful thing about life is um, the rejection takes you, you know, where you're meant to thrive and be the best version of yourself and love yourself through that as hard as it can be and don't be too hard on yourself. I think that that's a really hard one too.
Okay. Um, so how much of your character do you relate to or identify with?
I relate to Bess a lot. I think that she is someone that is super quirky. I'm a very quirky person. um, someone that does, I think artists really do struggle with feeling validation in their art, and they can be incredibly critical of themselves. And I also think that Bess is someone that really cares about other people, and I think I care a lot about people too. Her temper is a lot more uh, a little quick for sure, and that was something that was exciting to play because normally I try not to make anybody feel uncomfortable with that. So I thought that that was kind of fun to be a little more sharp and to find that.
And my last question, like Bess has 6 jobs and she's living in New York City, which is all right. I live in New York City. I know how that is. And she's like trying her best to stay above water and be like the rock and glued to her family. At such a young age, she's dealing with a lot. How do you see this taking a toll on like her mental health?
Oh yeah, I absolutely think that it would take a toll on her mental health. Um, and I think the way that she coped with it was really numbing it out, avoiding, maybe even sometimes overworking herself to find some sort of validation or distraction to the reality. And I think that in ways she she resisted love for sure at times.
Thank you so much.
Ah, Unique, thank you so much.
Have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Hi, Unique from Where's the Buzz? And the first thing I want to know is because this show's about like navigating your 20s, and 20s are very adventurous and they're a very difficult thing. What has the journey been like for you?
Well, I'm in my 20s, and a pandemic hit, and I'm figuring a lot out as we speak. It's actually almost inspiring to watch the show and watch what is technically myself, but a version, uh, actually somewhat have it together. That's or like
Yeah.
or get to some place of real discovery. I'm like, oh my gosh, I could do that too.
Yeah.
So
It's a good thing you can play younger because you.
well, I know that's why I shaved the whole thing. I'm looking. I saw myself for the first time. And I was like, oh, those crow's feet, they're coming. So I shaved it all
Oh
away.
well,
I was like,
I'm getting to the end of my 20s. I feel like I'm 40. My insides are probably 50.
totally agree.
But it's a hard time navigating your 20s, and this show does a really great job of expressing those hardships, but also those moments of joy that make you the person that you aspire to be later on, and those foundations get laid in these times. Um, but yeah, I mean, listen, everyone says the 20s is the greatest one, and the 20s and the 30s are the years that you really knew what you were doing, and then the 40s all of a sudden were way more fun because the 30s had set that up. So just as long as you can live your life in as joyous a way possible, I think it doesn't matter what age you are, really.
So I want to talk about this love triangle real quick because I'm Team Sam. Sorry, Sean,
That's
because
okay.
Ethan's a little selfish. He is. So, in your own personal opinions, who do you think is the better fit for a person like Bess?
Well, I'm going to let him. He's got a rebuttal. I mean, he's got a.
Yeah, Sara just walks off. This was obviously a conversation that I had to have with Jesse myself, especially when I align with who I am as a person, as a partner. To my girlfriend, I had to find a way to understand the motives behind some of the actions, and actually, unfortunately, what you might not witness is a lot of context that leads to the way that he's in the situation with Layla in New York. He's been in a sort of a caretaker role for a long time, and it started when he was looking after his mother after his father died, and he's found himself bonded to this person since they were kids, and they're almost family, and that spark has sort of lent itself to going out, and it's sort of almost like they're going through the motions, and he's focusing, applying all of his love into his work until he sees Bess, and Bess just blows him away, and it becomes something that he cannot control, but he has to do right by Lila and leave her first to do. The problem is he's in a caretaker role where she might not be in a position for that to be healthy for her. So I fight for where Ethan stands from. I understand entirely why some people wouldn't, but I had to believe that I was trying to do the best thing possible, and that he at least owns up to when he gets things wrong, that life isn't as simple as it seems. And they had some moments in episode 3 where they spend all night together, and you get to know that. But for the sake of storytelling and probably performance, that ends up on the cutting room floor to keep it under 30 minutes.
And
Honestly, I'm team both, because, like, honestly, Bess is just like, date as many as you want. Who cares? She's figuring it out, and she does, which is the greatest part of the show, I think, is that, like, an actual a young person, a young woman who gets to. I mean, even though it's complicated and sometimes comes against a lot of economic or emotional struggles, like, she figures it out. I mean, she, like, finds her groove, her tune, and keep dating both. I mean, whatever. Like, date more.
It's all part of being in your 20s, right?
it is a part of
It's no shame.
Where is the buzz you said was mine?
Where is the buzz?